Ben. Can I get any word at all?
Yeah, Austin, your word is licorice.
Licorice.
Yeah.
Thank you, licorice. The red one tastes good, and the black one tastes bad. I don't like the flavor of anise. It's the worst one I've ever had.
The red one tastes good, and to me, the black one tastes fine. And everyone acts like black licorice is so bad, they can get behind me.
Red one tastes bad, and the black one also tastes bad. I've never liked licorice, and I don't understand why it's so popular.
My one wish is that we could all agree on licorice. My one wish is that the three of us could agree on licorice.
Well, here is something that tastes fine. It's a Twizzler or a red vine. It tastes like strawberries, and that goes down nice. And I don't like licorice that looks like it's spelled licorice.
See, I like Twizzlers, but the old kinds. The new ones with the pull away, I don't like them. And if you gotta give me one of those, I'll eat it, but I'll be a little sad.
When I sit down for a candy eating session, I don't want flavors from the Great Depression. There was a time before, way long ago, before things tasted good. But now we know how candy tastes whenever it should.
My one wish is that we could all agree on licorice. My one wish is that we could all agree on licorice. My one wish is that we could all agree on licorice. My one wish is we could all agree on licorice.
That was just everyone's real opinions, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Those pull-away ones are the best.
There was no improv there.
They're all bad, and they
I
all
don't-
come from a time before we knew
I will
what candy
say,
was supposed to taste
I
like.
fuck with a good and plenty. Those are good.
Yeah.
If you're going to give me black licorice, at least cover it in sugar. Sam, you're leaning on the mic like you have something to say.
No, well, I just don't like those, but I respect that opinion.
Yeah. Hey, Lily, what podcast is this?
Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to Food Opinions, the musical. This is Charm Scene. You're tuning in. This is Charm Scene, if you didn't hear that. We are the most charmingest pod in all the scene, and we've got a lot of charming people in this room. I, for one, am sitting across from the beautifully sweet Austin Packard.
Aw, and I'm sitting across from the greatly depressed Lily Ludwig.
Keeping it nice and spicy on the keys is Sam Scheidler.
Hi, everybody.
And that the pull away king himself. It's Chris Ditton, everybody. I'm sorry, Chris. I couldn't think of anything.
Oh, and we are both so lucky to be sitting at the table with a wonderful guest, with a dear friend. We've known him forever. He is a comedian. He's a podcaster himself.
Yeah, that podcast, you might have heard him on a podcast called Bite Size, which we've both been on.
You may have heard both of you on that one as well.
You may have also seen us performing with us in a little show called Riff, or you may see him even now in an improvised musical called Blank at the Revival. It's the one, the only, it's Ben Hebert.
Hello, Austin and Lily.
He's ready to go.
Oh, this
Thank
guy
you, Sam.
is
Nice.
Little song and dance band Ben Hebert. How are you, Ben? Thank you so
Good.
much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. How are we doing today?
I'm doing great. I've saved this to tell you on the
Uh-huh.
podcast, but so Spotify Wrapped came out this
Yes.
month. I listened to 4 podcasts this year.
Uh-huh.
Charm Scene was number 4. Number 1 was Bite Size.
Hell yeah. Oh,
So,
hell yeah.
It's a good podcast.
Thank you so much. I was just about to say, this is bizarre. For me, I'm used to hosting my own show. I have not been a guest on a podcast in a while.
Yeah.
So when you two started talking to me, I shifted into host mode and was like, how are you doing? Welcome to my home. This is my podcast now. But no, I'm your guest. I'm going to be a good guest. I'm going to answer questions instead of asking
Hey,
them.
if you want to host, that's fine with
We
me.
can sit back.
I may accidentally mutiny on this show. I promise it's not intentional. I just don't know how else to be.
If we end talking about Twilight, then you know things have gone wrong.
Well, I want to say the whole vibe of this podcast is like taking funny people that we trust to do their own thing and letting them do their own thing.
Great.
So if this ends up being a Twilight retrospective, then we did our
It's
job.
What an episode.
It's not. I mean, for the record, I don't want this to sound like I'm saying anything bad about podcasts. This is something that other people have talked to me about.
Yeah.
I host a podcast, for those of you who do not know, called Bite Sized, where I watch the movie Twilight one scene at a time with a new guest every week. It's very silly. It's very fun. You can find it wherever you get podcasts. And I've had other people with other shows be like, yeah, come on my show. We can talk about Twilight. And I say to them, thank you. However, I'm going to be talking about Twilight. I'm watching the movies one scene at a time.
Yeah.
I'm most of the way through the first movie. I'm going to be talking about Twilight on podcast for about 7 years. I live in constant fear that I will run out of things to say about Twilight.
You'll just be the Twilight guy.
I will save that for my own show.
Yeah.
And I will talk about other things here so I don't burn through material.
Well, we've kind
I'm
of
so
broken.
scared.
We've broken your system here too, because
Yeah.
you have mentioned. We were talking about this earlier. You've mentioned that you only have your friends on the podcast if they if your friends with
That's-
podcasts. You'll only bring them on.
Only sort of true.
Oh, have you
you
lied to
misunderstood
us?
my system that
Okay.
I myself broke. I had
Yeah.
a system for a while that if I had friends who were hosts of a podcast, I would have one of them on
Oh.
and then not the other one until I got to be on their show.
Oh.
And I've since broken that because literally every one of my friends with the podcast that I brought on the show didn't have me on their show.
I see.
So this is now a secret call
Also,
out.
you had us both on your podcast before we started Charm Scene.
Right.
Yeah, so technically it doesn't apply.
All right.
But anyway, if we're not going to talk about Twilight, we've asked you to bring in a story
Yeah,
about your time
yeah.
as a comedian, performer, whatever. So why don't you hit us with it?
Yeah, this was a tough question because I've been performing for a very long time.
Yeah.
I really I thought about going back deep into my childhood when I was the drummer for the All Stars Youth Banjo Band, America's. It has since been retired. It was America's premier 40-piece, essentially orchestra of entirely 4-string jazz banjos, not 5-string bluegrass banjos.
And a drum, apparently.
And a drummer, guitar player, bass, and piano. We called ourselves the back row because we sat in the back because we had to be near the outlets. That's true. That was a fascinating.
This is before extension cords existed.
Well, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And we played in a lot of weird places that were never intended to support bands. But this will be something similar, performing in a weird place where you were never meant to perform. But my first regular paid gig as a comedian, I did a short form improv show in the downtown Houston Public Library.
Oh.
And if you know anything about Houston, you know that is a terrible, terrible place for an improv show. For starters, we were not in like a theater where they host talks or like a conference room where you can close the doors. We were just like in the stacks. They would like move some shelves, set up some risers. The origin of this is someone at the downtown public library, the main branch, wanted to host a comedy night at the library to get more people in.
Uh-huh.
Sure, that's great.
Classic place for loudness.
Right.
Yeah, everyone loves rolling up at the library and being
so
forced.
they
entertainment.
reached out to Station Theater, shout out to Station, where I got my start doing improv in Houston. And they said, hey, we'll pay you. Will you sort of run this for us? And here's what we want. Just sort of do it. And so we would host an open mic. And viewers on the social media can see my air quotes though. And then we would do like an hour of short form at 6 p.m. on a Thursday.
Oh.
Here's the thing about Houston, specifically about downtown Houston.
Oh.
It is all business buildings. There is like no residential, no nightlife. It is all business. So at 5 o'clock on Thursday, everyone leaves. And so we were essentially in an empty library on some choir risers doing short form improv for people. They just sort of gathered whatever chairs and couches they had in the library and set them up in this area with like 6 chairs across going back like 60, 70 feet. And you
Wow.
two know audiences. They don't like to sit up front.
No.
So it would be a bunch of improvisers who happened to be free on a Thursday doing improv for whatever 2 or 3 people happen to be
Oh my
meandering
God.
through
Oh,
the library
that's so
Yeah.
about 70 feet away.
And they are not there for you.
They are not there for us.
No.
They did not know. Occasionally there would be, because they wanted to market this as an open mic,
Yeah.
like a stand-up open mic. And for some reason, they reached out to an improv theater. I don't know why. That wasn't my decision. It was a bad one. But
To all of our parents, we do stand up. They just tell people that we do
comedy's
stand-up.
comedy.
How's your stand-up going? And I'm like, it's great.
But
Thanks for
like-
asking.
Zero actual comedians, like no one from the actual Houston stand-up scene was coming to this open mic. It was people clearly who like searched on Facebook open mic comedy and found this and was like, okay, I'll try it. So it would just be like 20, 30 minutes of terrible stand-up with no microphone.
Uh-huh.
And then we would do an improv show for 4 people way over there.
Oh my God. I'm like physically in pain right now.
It's so
That's
rough.
awful.
It
Yeah.
was hard. I think I got paid $10 a show, which was the most I'd ever made from comedy. At
You
that
did this
point,
more
so I
than
was loving
once?
it. Oh, I did this monthly for like
Honey.
over a year.
Wow.
Yeah, we hosted one year around Christmas time. So probably exactly 8 years ago, we hosted a stand-up competition, and there were prizes based on judge votes. And guess who the judges were? We were the judges because we were comedy professionals. And 3 of us sat there on these what looked like an American Idol table, because we were sort of sitting that distance from each other, facing the stage about 30 feet back instead of the full 70, with a massive pile of snacks in front of us, too big for 3 people to eat during this show. And just sort of watching people do stand up and just sort of giving them feedback when they were done, despite the fact that none of us for stand-ups there. I don't remember who won the adult. I think they got $100, but there was an adult division and a children's division. And there were no, at the start of show, there were 0 entrants for the children's division.
Right.
But there was a man there with his 2 children who was clearly leaving the library and heard this and was like, oh, what's going on? And we stopped mid-show to explain what was going on because no one cared.
Yeah.
And we explained, oh yeah, there's a children.
Those 3 people were half your audience.
And this man did the math. He realized he had 2 daughters. There were prizes for first and second place in the children's division. So he just had them each go up on stage, tell one joke, and then go away. And the next one came up and did the same thing. And he walked out of that with $150.
Oh my
And one of his kids was like 6 or 7 years old, was genuinely actually really funny.
And he would roll in once a month, get his $150 from the library.
No, we did that one time.
Yeah.
That was not profitable for the library, I don't think.
And that little girl, Amy Schumer.
That's right. That's how she got her start.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning.
You're
I'm
so
75.
You're so old,
Yeah.
Ben. You're so old. Wow. All right. Well,
He was
here's
the worst.
That's incredible.
Here's what we're gonna do now. Okay. So we like to take that story, right, and use it as inspiration for an improvised musical. So we
We
can
like to put it in a big old metaphorical blender.
blender.
We're going to take bits of that story, mix it on up, and use it to inspire a fully improvised musical.
Now, the bit that I love the idea of doing stuff in a library that should not be done in the library. I think that's so fun.
Okay, and we
Yeah.
talked about this earlier. We have not done a monoscene musical yet. And we were literally, before you got here, we were saying we've never done a monoscene. And Sam was saying how much he loves getting just a location as a suggestion. And I think we should do a whole show set in a library.
I was gonna, when you told me you'd never done a monoscene before, I was like, I don't want to force anything, but if we did a monoscene today, I
Too
think
late,
this would
bitch.
be
Let's
a good,
do it.
I don't, no, that my point was, I don't want to force it, but I'm gonna force it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure. So let's just do a
A
monoscene.
Let's do
monoscene,
it.
for anyone who doesn't know that term,
Oh,
Oh,
good
thank
job,
you.
Sam.
is just one scene that doesn't ever change location, right? It all takes place.
It is a mono from the Greek meaning one scene.
Wow.
It's
It's like a long take. What do they call that in a movie where the camera never cuts?
A long take.
A long take.
It's called
Sure.
long take.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
another word for it.
And we can have
a Birdman.
This
can have
episode of
different
Charm Scene is
scenes and different
directed by
people.
Alfonso Cuarón.
Yeah.
we can have different
too.
rooms
Yes.
in the library. We can have different characters who don't interact until the end or whatever.
Got to be careful though, because we're verging into pretty flower territory.
That's true.
true.
Pretty Flower for our parents is a improv form that centers on one scene and then keeps branching out and then going back to the same
The
thing.
base scene, yes.
Like, oh, did I ever tell you guys the story of how I got stranded on the side of the road? Do-do-do-do-do-do. And then you do that scene and then you come back.
But not this
Anyway.
time.
Not this time.
Not this time. All right.
Everyone, picture a library. We open on your childhood library. Picture what that looked like in your mind. Picture where the books were and where maybe the beanbag chairs and where story time was. That's where we open on. I'm picturing the Westchester Library in Westchester, Pennsylvania. That's where we open today. There's some kids reading in the corner. There's some librarians walking around. There's maybe some adults chaperoning. But we focus on one person, whoever that may be. And here he is.
All my life has been lived in quiet deference. I've spent so many years behind this desk of reference. Dictionaries, encyclopedia. That's what people come for me. Sometimes, maybe one day, I want to see what's out there in the stacks. I want to find the thing that my life lacks. I've learned and read and seen all that I can inside this room. I have to get out. What else can I do? I want to live. I want to live. I've learned and read and seen, but never live. I want to live. I want to live. There's more out there the world has to give.
I come to the library to escape. I mean, don't get me wrong, my life is pretty great, but I get bored and I want to go on adventures. You see, I go to outer space or the Wild West or into a sea.
I want to live. I want to live. I've seen and read and done, but never lived. I want to live. I want to live. I want to see what all the world has to give.
My house does not have a computer, but this place has a computer, and I want to go on the computer after school. My mom thinks that I'm reading, but I'm actually succeeding at playing Oregon Trail on this computer. I want to live. I want to live.
I've read and seen and heard, but never truly ever lived. I want to live. I want to live. I want to go and see all that the big beautiful world out there has got to give.
I want to live. Shh, everybody, shh. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I was trying to get on the computer there, but it's prompting some sort of admin login. Is that you?
No, I only have boring things back here, like binders full of old magazines.
You can't. You don't. It was a really bad day at school, and I was hoping to get my saved file of Oregon Trail.
I'm so sorry, but I'm not allowed to leave behind this desk, no matter where my heart yearns.
Is there someone you could call?
The police, maybe?
Do you
I don't
live
know.
back there?
Yeah. You can't see, but I'm shackled to this desk.
So,
I'm weighed down by out-of-date, obsolete dictionaries that don't have words like on fleek in them anymore.
Mr. Brenly?
That's my name,
Mr.
Thomas Brenly.
Mr. Thomas Brenly.
Please call me Tom.
Tom, how did you get here? Because I need to know how not to do this.
I made a mistake, son. I made a mistake I want you to promise me you'll never make.
Okay, sure.
I went to graduate school.
Graduate school?
After college, I found myself lost and adrift with nothing to do. I'd lived my entire life in some sort of school system, kindergarten, elementary, junior high, high school, college, and then I was alone, an adult out there in the world with nothing to do. And I thought, what if I could just go back? And so I applied to graduate school and got my master's degree in library science.
No!
A noble profession, a noble pursuit. But I found myself unable to escape the grip of the educational institution. And instead of being one of those cool medical research librarians, I'm here at a reference desk.
That you can never leave?
That I can never leave.
Wow, I thought that 6th grade was hard. You've scared me, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't intend to.
Tell me,
Yes.
your life thus far sounds a bit like the Oregon Trail.
I want to help you, son, I really do. So I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to page my manager. Mary to reference. Mary to the reference desk.
Hello, it might take me a minute to climb down the stairs. You can keep talking while I do that.
I just wanted to get on the computer.
I know, son. That's all I want, too.
Now I've been shown how terrible the world outside of 6th grade can be.
You may think it's bad out there, but it's actually worse in here.
Oh, we have so many stairs.
Get back. Get where you can. Leave.
I have to stay here. My mom picks me up at 5.
Drop out of school if you must.
What?
Okay.
I'm in 6th
Break
grade.
the cycle,
You
young
can't
man.
tell me this. You can't do
Thomas.
this to me.
Thomas, what are you telling this boy? What do you need your save file for the Oregon
I
Trail?
can't you log me into the computer? It's still an admin mode. I need you to log
Of
into
course.
guest mode.
Of course. Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop.
Thank you.
All done.
Goodbye.
I remember going on the Oregon Trail for real.
Really?
Mary?
What was it
Yup.
like?
Oh, I'll tell you all about it. Well, picture this.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to tell a story that's gonna drag on, but picture you're in a covered wagon and you are going to a brand new home. You got your mom and your dad and your little brother and one little trunk because you can't bring any other, or else you'd be out on your own on the Oregon Trail. There's no room to fail on one day I would work in a library, 'cause I was sick of having dysentery, and I didn't want to shit myself to death. So I drank lots of water, and I became my father's daughter, and now I'll work here until my final breath on the Oregon Trail. It pays to be hale on the Oregon Trail. It pays to be hale. And if you don't know what that means, it means healthy. Look it up in the dictionary, you'll feel wealthy. I love to be surrounded by these books. It was a very dangerous path, full of all of the elements' wrath, and now my life is beautiful. Just take a look on the Oregon Trail. Every day I would wail on the Oregon Trail. Every day I would wail. I long for a life of luxury, being surrounded by books and technology, and now I am happy at last. No more Oregon Trail. No more Oregon Trail. Because there's no room to fail on the Oregon Trail.
Gee, I didn't know I was going to be I'm learning so much today at the library.
Mary, that sounds incredible.
It was.
It sounds dangerous and perilous and fraught and exciting and real.
Well, yes, but emphasis on the real part. I mean, it seems all exciting in retrospect, but really it was a terrible time.
Well, Tom, that sounds like exactly what you want, though.
Sounds like exactly what you want too, young boy.
We want to go on the Oregon Trail together.
And you've been on the Oregon Trail, Mary. What if you took us to Oregon right now?
Is this
We happen to be in Council Bluffs, Iowa right now, right where the Oregon Trail starts.
My mom's going to be here at 5.
Mary's your mom now.
Well,
Whoa.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm committed to stay in the library the whole time.
Mary.
Because I work here and no other reason.
Mary. Little boy.
Yeah.
I believe this is our destiny. And I know you want to stay with your mother and you want to stay with your library.
Don't you dare manifest a destiny for me.
My mom's not
Good
even here.
But I want you to think about coming with me. You don't have to make a choice right now.
What if the Oregon Trail were
It was
here?
not inside us the whole time. No,
what
it's
if
a
it-
real
what if it
trail
was here?
that actually goes to Oregon.
What if it was here and we found it in the stack so that when I was here, when my mom gets here at 5,
I've spent too much time in the stacks. I want to get out. I want to see things, not just words on pages. I want to breathe air.
You know, life's not so good out there for any of us.
I want to feel. I want to bleed. I want to kiss.
Not me.
You can-
No, not you or
I'm in
you.
6th grade.
You can
Gee.
Theoretical.
Thomas, you can feel, bleed, and kiss inside of a library. Also, what is your name? I don't want to call you little boy. That's
Little boy.
patronizing.
I'm Mike. I'm a 6th grader.
Mike.
Mike,
I feel weird giving you my last name.
Don't worry about it. I'm
That's
not trying to
good.
dox you.
we're strangers.
The Privacy Act and all that. That applies to libraries.
You know,
Are you coming with
you
me?
two
or
act
not?
like your lives are so hard.
Yeah.
You ever been left at a library for the 3 hours after school waiting for your mom to get off work?
That would have been the best 3 hours of my day.
I wish I was only here for 3 hours.
It's the only part of my day that I look forward to. Because the rest of my life sucks.
Sad sack of shit.
I'm sorry to hear that, little boy. You can't call children sacks of
Look,
shit.
we're past
sorry,
it.
did you hear
This
that?
man's trying to take me on a train.
I want to break rules, Mary.
Okay, well, kidnapping a child is too rule-breaking.
What are you going to
for
do
me.
about it? I'm sorry. This boy was about to sing
This
something.
man's gonna kidnap me.
No.
I wake up in the morning with nobody there. My dad left when I was so small, my mother was unaware. I make myself a bologna sandwich and put it in my bag. I catch the school bus to school, but my rest of the day is sad. 'Cause nobody cares about Mike the 6th grader. Nobody cares about about this kid at all. I said nobody cares about Mike the 6th grader, 'cause the whole world was built to make this 6th grader feel so small. I got no friends in the lunchroom, I sit alone at my table, and I dream of a world where I could run around a fable. I write mystery, science fiction, fantasy novels in my wide rule notebook, but I'm just so shy that no one will ever look. Life's not fair for Mike the 6th grader, when nobody cares about this little boy at all. Life's not fair, not for Mike the 6th grader, 'cause I got no dad to go out and throw the ball. So I come to this library, it's the only friend you see, and I get on that computer there and I experience fantasy. Oh, I've been on the Oregon Trail too, 'cause that's the only thing that I can do, until my mom picks me up and she drops me off at home. Life's not fair, not for Mike the 6th grader. Life's not fair, not for this kid you see. I said life's not fair, not for Mike the 6th grader, 'cause I got no place to go and no family.
So that's it? You're a latchkey kid?
So you see why I can't leave? Where would I go?
Come with me
No,
to Oregon.
sir.
I'm gonna get out of here one way or another.
Fine.
The only way I know how. I'm gonna break every rule I can until you fire me. I'm gonna yell in the library!
Hey now.
Thomas, please.
Quiet down.
Sorry, Mr. Murray.
That's right. I've been over there reading the periodicals, and I've been hearing way too much out of the three of you.
We get it. This library is named after your grandfather. I've had enough of you, Mr. Murray.
I've been trying to tell them to keep it down, Mr. Murray.
You think when people walk into the Murray Library that they don't know the man they see sitting here?
I'm gonna check out a book and never return it.
No!
I'm gonna run.
You stop that right now.
Lock the doors. And we watch as Mr. Murray pulls out a switch on his. He presses the button, and the door and it electrocutes. It electrocutes Thomas.
Sorry, Mr. Murray.
We all thought that button was just going to lock all the doors.
Nobody's getting out of this library.
It has a lot of functions, that button.
It tased Thomas.
I pressed the
connected to
tase
many
button. I
things.
meant to press the lock button.
Now, I dare not correct Mr. Murray, but you absolutely cannot use a taser in the library. You can open carry a taser, but you cannot use one.
The man was going to steal a book, Mary.
One book. You know
From
how
my
many books go missing?
grandfather's library.
It's the People's Library, Mr. Murray. It just has your grandfather's name on it because he was a stupid alderman.
You take that back.
Please don't tase me again.
He was the best alderman. And he holds the button up, thumb hovering over the button.
Thomas,
Mary.
if you want to leave the library, then just leave. But don't expect anybody to follow you. I've found my peace in life. I already went on the Oregon Trail for real, and young people love to romanticize history and think, oh, if I was there, it would have been a fun adventure. But it was hard, and it was sad, and people pooped everywhere.
I've told you this, Mary. I don't just want to leave. I want to live. I want to feel what it's like to make a bad decision. I want to be self-destructive just a little bit.
You already have made a bad decision.
I want to make worse decisions.
Okay, well, I draw the line at kidnapping an 11-year-old.
I'm not going to kidnap the boy.
Thank you.
If he comes with me willingly, that's one thing.
I feel the safest with Mr. Murray.
I want to get out of this life that I've made for myself. I'm not just another book to sit up on this shelf. There's more to this world than I can see. There's more than just this library, so I'm gonna do what it takes to get out there. I'm gonna burn down some bridges, and I just mean that figuratively.
Please don't burn down the library.
But if that's what it takes, then I will burn down your library literally.
Don't burn down the library.
I'm a man with nothing left, with nothing to lose. I've got a brain in my head and some feet in my shoes. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get out there.
Please don't burn down the library.
If you burn down the library, where will I go? I'll be lost outside in the wind and the snow. If you do it, sir, I will lose my home. And my dad will still forever leave me alone.
Well, that's alright and all well, I guess, but I never wanna be here again.
No, don't burn the library.
I wanna get out there and see what life is like. I wanna live and dance.
Please don't burn down the
And I'll do what I must to make sure that when I'm gone, you never will once again wanna see my face. So I'm going, I'm leaving, I'm getting out of here. This is the last I've ever seen of this place. I wanna get out. Are you gonna let me out? Or will I have to burn down the Red Murray Library?
Oh, Thomas, as we've already said, you are free to retire. No need to burn the library down with some fire. Go blaze your own Oregon Trail, but leave us alone and maybe send us a postcard when you find a new home.
Well, Mary, Mary, I've given you my terms. You have till the end of the days. I'm getting out of this here building in one or two ways. You make your decision, it's coming down to the wire. Either you fire me or this place going up in fire. I wanna get out. If I have burned my way down, then so be it. That's what I'll do. That's how we'll get out of library. At last, I'll find my freedom out there in the world. All it is that and stuff and smoke and cinder, and there's nothing left but bones. Bones of the building of course.
And we watch as Mr. Murray presses the tase button again and holds it down for a really long time.
He falls to the ground and Mary stands over him and says, Thomas,
It's a good hurt.
Thomas,
Fire me or I fire the building, Mary.
you're fired.
You see, the thing here, Thomas, is that you've used this library as a place to keep all of your excuses for life. This building doesn't hold you. You do.
You hear clink clink as if by magic. The shackles and the shot collar fall off simply by the act of being fired. He is released.
I can only keep this on employee.
We don't have HR.
You can go all you want, Thomas, but no, you were never really held here. You held yourself here, and I bet just at the moment you're out there in the parking lot, you'll find somewhere else to hold yourself.
I'm going to prove you wrong, Mr. Murray. I'm never going to be tied down to one location again. I'm going to ride the rails. I'm going to go out on the Oregon Trail. Boy, are you coming with me?
No, my mom will be here in like 2 hours.
That is your decision, and I respect it. But if you change your mind, you know where to find me.
I don't like you.
I'll be wherever the winds are.
You're a weird man.
I'll be with the setting sun.
Wherever the winds are.
Ask the birds. They'll tell you my home address.
I'm not going to ask
It's
them.
everywhere.
That scares me.
Look, Mike, you
It's
know how
good.
we have an open policy in this library and people from all walks of life can come in?
Yeah.
Sometimes that means a guy will come in off the street yelling.
Did you do a background check on this guy?
Well, anyone can also be an employee. That's the other part of the
That's a
deal.
problem.
Look, the library was my escape, and I try to open up to as many people as I can, but sometimes they don't want to be here, and that's all right.
That's the thing, Mary. Sometimes your escape, someone else is trying to escape from.
I recall telling you could leave about 3 separate times.
And I'm going,
You're
trust
still
me.
here. The doors are unlocked, and you're unshackled, and yet you still speechologize to us.
I'm making my way. I'm closer to the exit than I was before I started this sentence. He has not moved at all.
He's still a little shaky from the electric shock.
Tasing.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to go, why don't you take a few books? I'm not sure if they have any in Oregon.
Okay. That's probably sensible.
And you don't have to return them. Think of it as a gift from the library.
I hope you make it, sir. I hope you don't fall into this pattern again, where it seems you've put yourself your whole life.
You're mighty wise for a little boy,
Nobody made you
His
go to
name is
grad
Mike.
school. I understand now what it means to be a man from seeing you fail so spectacularly.
What the hell?
And in that way, I'm sort of a father to you.
No, you are not. And I'm very uncomfortable with
Fine
this.
then. I'll go. But not because you told me to, because I'm doing it of my own volition.
Good.
Oh, good. I hope he sings another song about how he's leaving for real
But
this time.
first,
A song?
I'm going to take some of those books you offered me and some others because this is my choice. And I got to collect my stuff from my locker. So it may take a minute, but I'm still going to be here, but I'll be going eventually.
Look, I'd rather let him take 4 books and magazines than have him burn everything to the ground. you know?
guess we'll just have to buy new ones.
I'm
Cost
going to take
benefits.
both of these copies of Angels and Demons.
That's fine. Everyone's kind of over that book. Dan Brown's kind of out now.
Take the Colleen Hoover while you're at it.
No one wants the Colleen Hoover.
No, no one does.
Well, Mary,
Thomas.
Mr. Murray,
Yeah.
boy,
Sorry. I have allergies.
I've cherished the 13 months I've worked at this library.
Have you?
Yes.
Up until the last 45 minutes, you've been one of the best employees I've ever had.
Wait, this was new?
Yeah, I snapped.
You had a mental break, sir.
Yeah, that's what sort of the whole last 40 minutes has been about. I lived a life of quiet desperation until I couldn't stand it anymore. But now I'm gone.
And he really does go. And we see him walk out of the library and the camera follows him. And it's a sort of montage as the camera sees him walking sideways and the scenery changes behind him as he walks. And first he's sitting on a train. He gets onto a train and the train chugs along. And then the seasons change and summer becomes fall. And we see him walking through a cornfield with a little bindle bag across his back.
Yeah. And then there's he's walking across the snowy mountain range, the wind blowing in his face, but he's trucking on.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Then it's spring again, and he's there's flower petals falling down, and he catches one in his hand and looks at it pensively.
Little rose, where you came from, no one knows. Where you're going, who's to say? Wish that I could go that way, little rose. You follow where the wind blows,
flutters
but
away in the
I'm
wind.
not you. I've learned what I must do. I'll take these books from inside my bindle and line them up here in this empty field. I'll put stuff into their proper sections. And some nice patrons this should yield. I'm going to rebuild the library, the last place I felt safe. I have to go back, but I can't. This is the bet I've made. I'm going to rebuild the library, the place that I call home. And my first customer will be this little lawn gnome. I wish Mary and the boy were here to see what I have done. I've learned that if you do it right, the library can be fun. But I'm not in a rush, I'm on my own time, there's no hurry. And I'll never let in that dickhole, old man Mr. Murray.
And Mary and the boy do end up hearing his story, because as he starts the first library in Oregon, Thomas writes a book about how it came to be. And that book gets published, and it ends up in libraries all over the place, even Westchester Public Library that was renamed the Murray Library.
People all around the world, inspired by his actions, go out and start little libraries of their own. Little boxes they put in front of their houses where you can leave old textbooks you don't need anymore.
Mike takes some plywood from the wood shop and he builds his own little library, and it's a little thrown together, a little ramshackle, but it stands in his front yard.
Tom spends his entire life in that library in the field, and as he lays dying among the books, his thoughts go back to Mary and the boy.
And instead of singing, I want to live, because they have all lived fully now, they all sing,
I want to die. I've had enough of stupid life. I want to die. That's what I thought.
I was gonna say, I want to give.
Oh, that works better.
I want to give.
I want to
I've had a beautiful life to live, and now I give.
And I want to grow into someone that I do not yet know. I want to grow till I don't hurt anymore. I want to grow. I'm tired. I want to grow.
I want to give. I want
I'm done with all this strife.
I want to
I'm done with everything that is
Wow.
Oh, that was so cute.
Oh, what a fantastic
What a
time.
beautiful story.
Mister, I'm gonna force a monoscene and spends the whole show trying to leave.
Yeah, Miss and Mr. and Mr. and Mr. Hey, let's do a monoscene. Oh, buddy doesn't want to leave the library.
I love Sam having to jump in and be like, "Gang, we gotta do something."
We got a Sam Ex
Thank God.
Machina.
Thank God,
Sam
man.
Ex Machina.
Well, okay. So now that we've
Yeah.
reached sort of the end of this mono-ish journey,
Yeah.
see, we here at Charm Scene, we like to identify the most charming character and give them a little something more, or at least a character you want to hear more from. Now, we did not have many characters
No.
in this
There
show.
was Thomas,
Well-
there was Mike, there was Mary, this was Mr. Murray,
Here's
and
the
there
thing.
was a gnome at the end.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was a gnome. I did not have time to develop this,
Yes,
but
yes.
at some point
But
in my
you might
travels,
have
I
time
stole
now.
a gnome,
Yeah.
and I put him in the library.
So Ben, we
I-
throw it to you
Oh, okay.
to choose which character that you think deserves a little extra moment, a little solo, a little extra scene, something.
We got a nice very wrap-up button at the end. We learned that Mary wants to give, that the boy wants to grow, and that
His
Tom
name is Mike.
wants to die. But we never heard what Mr. Murray wants to do.
Right.
What is his want? What is his give or grow or die?
Oh.
That's the only other character in this show, buddy.
I want to taste.
We can hear from. I honestly forgot about Mr. Murray a little bit. We can hear from Mr. Murray. Yeah.
Yeah. What does he really want?
He's a generational library man. He said it was his
His
grandfather's
grandfather
library.
was named after Alderman Murray.
Yeah.
and
or the
he's only
library
continued in the footsteps. But
Yeah.
what does he really want deep down?
All right. I want to go back to the library. The lights are dimmed. The place is closed. And the only man there is, well, it's Mr. Murray. And he's thinking to himself, walking,
They let him hang out there after the library.
running his fingers. Listen, when your grandfather's name is on the building, you pretty much do whatever you want. And he's running his fingers up and down the spines of the books, and he's thinking to himself about what legacy he's left and what he wants to do with the rest of his short time on this earth. And he thinks to himself, I've had enough of my time here, feeling the pull of gravity keep me down. I don't want to just leave this library or this area, this county, this town. I want to go and colonize the moon and name the moon after me.
Murray Moon.
I want to go and colonize the moon.
Murray Moon.
So in the night sky, it's all that they see. I want to see if there are little men up there and put chalk collars around their necks again. I'll use them all as an army. And if they're lucky, my friends, I want to go and colonize the moon.
Murray Moon.
And name that moon after me.
Murray Moon.
I want to go and colonize the moon.
Murray Moon.
And build up some advanced weaponry. I want to look down on this little blue place, and I want them to know my name. I want to use my power to take over everything and live my life as one big war game. I want the moon.
Murray Moon.
I want the moon to name it after
Murray
me. I want the moon. And in that crater, I can die happily.
Who's the man in the moon?
It's me.
Who's the man in the
It's
moon?
me.
Who is that man?
It's me. It's Murray. It's all that me. And then he promptly dies immediately in the library, right there on the sectional.
Oh, what a treat for Mary to find tomorrow.
That's right. Friends, we did it. We have reached the end of our trip. Let's throw it to the amazingly stellar, it's Lily Ludwig sitting across from me.
I want to colonize the moon is the most Austin improv thing ever. It's Austin Packard.
I wish I could say I hadn't done it before.
Really?
I've done it before. And playing those sweet, sweet melodies. It's his fingies dancing on the keys. It's the amazing Sam Scheidler.
And taking us to school on the drums, it's Chris Ditton.
Incredible, but we could not have done this mono-ish scene today without our dear, dear friend. It's the amazing, incredible Ben Hebert. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you for joining
Ben,
us.
if people want to know more about you, see what they're doing, what you're doing, where should they follow you?
You can follow me on social media, specifically on Instagram. It's really the only one I have personally, at benhebert.com. That's at BenHebertDotCom. I haven't posted there in over a year. So instead,
Wow,
maybe
but you
follow,
spell it so well.
I just have to spell my last name a lot. Sam Scheidler has known me for a while and still doesn't know how to say it, apparently.
I know.
The H is silent, Sam.
Classic Ben Hebert.
No, he called me Hey Bear during during a warm up.
Yeah.
I don't care for that.
But
one
I
bit.
flagged that,
immediately
yeah.
corrected
No,
myself.
I understand. I forgive you.
And where can they follow Bite Size?
You can, I was about to say, if you want to follow me on social media where I actually post with any regularity, you can follow at bitesizedpod_ on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where you can hear clips from my show, Bite Sized. You can maybe find episodes with Austin or Lily on
That's
there.
true.
All that
I'm on
information more available at
episode number
twilightpodcast.com.
6 and episode number 36.
And Austin's on
And I'm-
episode
I think
20.
21.
Am I? I was like, I'm somewhere in between
20
those two.
something.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
21.
And I've heard it's the best episode.
And
That's
I've
what people have
also
said. That's what people have
heard
said.
from my
That's
own
what I've
mouth
said.
that I want to have. I've never had 2 guests on one show before. But that's
Ooh.
something I want to try at some point. And so I'm officially going to extend this invitation to you at some point in the near future. You're going to be my first 2 guest
Oh, we would
guest
be
episode
insufferable.
Whoa.
with Charm Scene, but we can get into
Can
the
we get
of
Sam
that.
too?
Uh,
Or a
need,
package
and then we need
deal.
Chris in the room, but he just kind of sits in the
A
corner
special
and shouts
musical
out
episode of Bite Size.
Yeah, can we just make up a musical?
We can talk about this off the air.
Hooray!
No, we're going to solve this now, and you will promise us this.
TwilightPodcast.com.
Well,
Yes.
Ben, thank you so much for joining us. We hope we get to do, we've done a show called Riff together. We love live shows, and we really love supporting live shows. So make sure that you follow Ben. Go see him live if you
Yeah,
can.
Blake
or
the
listen to
Musical
his
at the
podcast.
Revival every
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday night.
Yes, we
Incredible.
are coming in a couple of weeks to come see Blank. So
Awesome.
if you're listening to this, come and join us. Come
I
sit
think
with us.
Assuming
by
this
the
comes
time
out, yeah.
by the time this releases, we will have seen it.
Oh, great. Well,
So,
it was great.
Listeners, go back in time.
Go check that out and go see a live show wherever you are. If you're in Chicago, if you're outside of Chicago,
If you're on the
guarantee you-
moon.
If you're on the moon, there could be live shows up there with little men up there.
I believe it.
So go watch their improv show and keep checking it back right here at Charm Scene. We got new episodes every single Tuesday, so please do come back, tell your friends, and spread the good word.
You can
of Charm
follow us
Scene.
on Instagram at CharmScenePod.
Yeah.
No underscore, because we got our name first.
That's right. And if you're listening to us right now, that means you found us. So good
Hooray.
job.
Hey.
But until next time,
You just got charmed.
you just got charmed.
Got charm. Charm Scene.
Is there a cat in here?
Yes.
Hold on, we gotta let the cat
Pause.
out. He's screaming.
you put your headphones on the keys.
If we leave this in, hey listeners, Sam's cat is screaming at the door, so he's letting him out, and he rested his headphones on the keys. And now Austin and Ben are also doing a bit.
Put the cat outside. It's Brenly, right? That was your name?
Thomas
Bram-
Bradley.
Thomas.
That was Bramley with an M, but
Oh,
I'm
it
not
could be.
sure.
Because if I take my headphones off.
It'll ruin it. It sounds heavenly.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. It's really
Okay,
good.
we'll edit this out, baby.
will edit this.
Okay.
All right, where are we picking it up from?